Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit BillHowe.com. And by the Conrad Trebas Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
It was one of the first things President Donald Trump did in his second term, gutting the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. The CFPB was set up in the wake of the 2007-2008 financial crisis to protect consumers from predatory lending and deceptive financial products. KPBS reporter John Carroll says a new local version may soon become a reality.
County Board of Supervisors Chair Tara Lawson-Remer kicked off a Tuesday morning news conference with a list of things the newly proposed County Consumer Protection Unit would deal with.
A fee shows up after you've already agreed to the price. Rent suddenly jumps. An insurance claim gets denied when your family needs care the most. Pollution in your community drives up medical bills and lowers property values.
Seated behind Lawson-Remer, people who've had those kinds of things happen to them, including Air Force veteran Tonya Savis.
Someone stole my Social Security number and filed a tax return of $158,000. It caused my Social Security disability to be stopped. $1,500 a month I've lost in income. Now I can't even afford to live in San Diego County.
My name is Jesus Martin Gallegos Muñoz.
Gallegos Munoz lives near the Tijuana River. He says beginning in 2020, chemical and wastewater pollution from the river began decimating his health.
My immune system was trying to protect me from contaminants and pollutants in my environment, but in doing so, I developed chronic uveitis, gastritis, colitis, and sacroiliitis.
Daniel Fuentes says black mold developed in his apartment. He says getting his landlord to do something about it was not easy.
I am here as someone who has had to fight against the corporate landlord class in order to receive the relocation assistance that was owed to me.
Lawson-Remer says the new CFPP would help consumers deal with those sorts of issues when they have nowhere else to turn.
Its mission is straightforward: enforce consumer protection laws, stop illegal practices that raise costs, and help residents recover money when they have been harmed.
The county says it will pay for this consumer protection unit with money that it gets from settlements along the way, but if the board votes to approve it next week, they want to get it up and running as soon as possible. Lawson-Remer says they have the money to do that. She says that money came from a settlement the county got in a lawsuit that was settled several years ago. The board will vote on the proposal at their meeting next week. If they approve, Lawson-Remer says it will begin its work as soon as it has the staff it needs. John Carroll, KPBS News.
We have relentless heat. A heat wave is in progress across the southwest here, and we're dabbling near record highs in San Diego, but areas just inland are breaking record highs. Tonight, we're dealing with a little bit of relief temporarily, 40s and 50s, mostly 50s out there. A couple of areas briefly drifting down into the upper 40s, Oceanside and Campo, but the rest of us are in the 50s, and we're right under the ridge, just record broiling heat for many in the southwest. We'll have details ahead.
Israel announced it's killed Iran's top security official in an airstrike as the war in the Middle East continues. The U.S. Embassy in Baghdad was also targeted by drones during an attack. As Michael Yoshida reports, this is all happening as a ship carrying American Marines makes its way to the region and as gas prices continue to soar.
Defense systems firing at projectiles near the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, Iraq. Diplomatic headquarters, an oil field, hotel, and other facilities all reportedly targeted by Iran. The early morning attacks happening as Israel announced it had killed Ali Larijani, Iran's top security official. Also reportedly killed a leader of Iran's paramilitary, which was part of violent crackdowns on protesters in January.
This is a big deal, taking these two out. If killing Khamenei was kind of a 10, I'd say this is an 8.5.
Flight and shipping disruptions continuing across the Middle East. Several airlines extending flight cancellations, and NATO allies deciding not to send ships to help secure the region's waterways.
I think NATO's making a very foolish mistake, and I've long said that, I wonder whether or not NATO would ever be there for us. So this was a great test, because we don't need them, but they should have been there.
Impacts to the Strait of Hormuz continuing to cause surging gas prices, up to an average of $3.79 a gallon, according to AAA. And it could get worse.
Well, you've got a combination of higher demand, summer blend gasoline, and rising crude oil prices. So that means spring and summer are going to be your highest times for gas prices.
Tuesday, a top Trump-appointed U.S. intelligence official resigned. Joe Kent, a staunch Trump supporter, writing in part, "I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby." The White House called that claim absurd. In Washington, Michael Yoshida, KPBS News.
The ACLU Foundation of San Diego and Imperial Counties has launched regional hotlines for reporting unlawful conduct by federal immigration agencies. They can be used to report harassment, use of force, racial profiling, warrantless stops, and detention by ICE and U.S. Border Patrol. Both of those numbers are on your screen. The San Diego County hotline is 619-467-1663. The Imperial County hotline is 760-645-9335. A federal appeals court ordered the end of a Biden administration-era student loan repayment program. It brought lower monthly bills to millions of borrowers. Ivan Rodriguez has more on what borrowers should know.
After years of legal challenges, the Biden-era Saving on a Valuable Education or SAVE plan has officially been killed by a U.S. District Court judge. The Trump administration had long called the plan illegal and sought to shut it down.
The SAVE plan was by far the most generous repayment option for student loan borrowers.
Under the plan, some enrolled borrowers saw monthly payments as low as 5% of discretionary income. It also promised to cancel remaining student loan debt after making as little as 10 years of payments. After last week's ruling, millions of student loan borrowers enrolled in SAVE have been asking a similar question: what now?
There's more than 7 million borrowers enrolled in SAVE. Keep in mind, this is at a time that we keep hearing about backlogs of income-driven repayment applications, backlogs of people trying to get their loans forgiven from public service loan forgiveness program. And so now we're going to add more than 7 million people to have to change repayment programs.
In a statement to CNBC, Education Department Undersecretary Nicholas Kent said clear guidance for borrowers enrolled in the SAVE plan and how they could move into other repayment plans would be shared in the coming weeks. Until then, Natalia Abrams with the Student Debt Crisis Center suggests borrowers wait.
Are you going to be somebody that gets that notice 6 months, 9 months down the line? This is why we're telling borrowers to just hold tight for the moment and do not make decisions based on every little bit of news, because you just get whiplashed, right?
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Hundreds of thousands of San Diego County residents could be impacted by new federal restrictions on food and medical assistance. KPBS health reporter Heidi DeMarco says the county is urging the public to take action before the new rules start next month.
Beginning April 1st, new federal rules could cause some CalFresh and Medi-Cal recipients to lose benefits if they don't update their information. Certain lawfully present non-citizens like asylees and refugees will also no longer qualify for CalFresh food assistance. But that's not the only change residents will face. Federal rules now include new work requirements for some adults who will need to log at least 80 hours a month of work, training, or volunteering to keep benefits. That could affect hundreds of thousands of San Diegans who rely on CalFresh and Medi-Cal. The San Diego Food Bank alone served over 400,000 people last month. I spoke with CEO Casey Castillo about what's ahead.
We work with over 450 nonprofit partners within the county. We know the areas where a lot of these populations are residing, and we're already in communication with those nonprofit partners that are in those neighborhoods and can support them.
Castillo says they're coordinating with the county and 211 to meet increased demand. Advocates warn those most at risk include working adults with inconsistent hours, caregivers, and anyone who may miss miss critical notices. County officials say most people will still qualify, but staying informed and updating your information is critical to avoid losing benefits. From the newsroom, Heidi DeMarco, KPBS News.
San Diego County recently received nearly $100 million from the state for behavioral health treatment. The money comes from Proposition 1, which voters approved in March of 2024. KPBS reporter Alexander Wynn says that was the largest single award from the grant.
California has a more than 7,000 behavioral health beds shortfall that is contributing to unmet needs for people experiencing homelessness with mental health or substance abuse disorders. Governor Gavin Newsom says this was why voters approved Proposition 1 to expand funding for behavioral health.
We finally now are shifting to that fundamental priority that can really start to address some of those chronic issues and address some of those issues that are particularly happening out on the streets and sidewalks.
With Round 2 funding recently announced, San Diego is receiving $171 million, with the county receiving $99.5 million from the grant.
It's a milestone for behavioral health in San Diego County.
Supervisor Tara Lawson-Remer says the money will go toward building a state-of-the-art behavioral health wellness campus in the Midway District. It is expected to add 210 new treatment beds for mental health and substance abuse treatments. Lawson-Remer says it'll be a hub for crisis stabilization and outpatient care.
For too long, we had a fragmented system, and still, every single day, patients across San Diego County have to go to sometimes 1, 2, 5, 12 different places to get the treatment that they need.
The county was one of 3 grantees in the region. The Pala Band of Mission Indians received nearly $22 million for a substance abuse and mental health treatment center.
We're the first Native American tribe in Southern California to be awarded this grant.
The center will be built near Chocolate Mountain, also known as Gregory Mountain. Pala Chairman Robert Smith says it's vital to have mental health services on tribal land so the treatment stays connected to the culture.
We want to keep them in their current surroundings, work with them with people they know, use traditional practice, and help them, get cured if we can with all the services we provide.
Chocolate Mountain is considered sacred to the native tribes because it is believed to be the resting place of Takwish, a deity who keeps the balance between life and death. And that's why it's also a good place for healing.
Just the nature, the oak trees, the mountain, everything is there, esteemed nature. It just helps overall with the healing process.
The facility is expected to be open by September 2028 and would be open to all members of the local Native American tribes. Palomar Health is the 3rd grantee in the region, receiving $50 million in restore funding for a 120-bed behavioral health campus in Escondido. The state rescinded the Round 1 award for the same amount in 2025 after Palomar failed to meet the matching fund requirement. Alexander Wen, KPBS News.
A major move to get San Diego drivers to slow down got the green light from City Council. Last night, the council voted unanimously to lower speed limits on more than 600 miles of road across San Diego. This in support of the city's long-standing Vision Zero plan to have 0 deaths caused by traffic fatalities.
We've seen far too many crashes involving pedestrians and bicyclists in San Diego in the last couple of years, and the neighborhoods have been calling for slower speed limits.
Unfortunately, people oftentimes speed through the alleys, kind of speed through the intersections, and it creates a real danger for pedestrians especially.
School zones will be the first to see lowered speed limits. The city's transportation department needs more than $2 million before the plan would be implemented. The San Diego Latino Film Festival will showcase 147 films from around the globe over the next 5 days. KPBS cinema junkie Beth Accomando says you'll have to make some tough choices during this compressed festival schedule with film screening day and night at multiple venues.
San Diego Latino Film Festival turns 33 this year, and that makes its founder, Ethan Von Tilo, reflect on its history.
And we started as a small student Chicano film festival here in San Diego, and now to be celebrating 2026 with a tribute to Luis Valdez, who's known as the father of Chicano cinema and Chicano theater, is a really wonderful celebration. I'm really excited about it.
The high cost of theater rentals has forced the festival to cut back on its usual usual 11-day schedule. That means attendees face tough choices with more films overlapping in multiple venues over fewer days.
Every kind of 90 minutes, there's going to be a new film that starts, so you can just come on in and check out whatever film's starting at that time. For example, there's this dystopian film from Uruguay called Un Futuro Brillante, which is just incredible to see. Yo Soy Frankelda is Mexico's first stop-motion animation film. It's an incredible animated film with music and singing. The filmmakers will be here. It was produced out of Guadalajara. Guillermo del Toro helped produce it, actually.
Escondido filmmaker Katarina Kohulin will screen her sci-fi short New Human, a cautionary tale about a woman about to leave her clone on a dying planet.
How much do you know about the Earth? What do you mean? From its beginning to now, do you know how I got like this? Yes. Then why? Why would I go?
She's teaching her clone how to be human, and she's basically grappling with this idea that her clone might be more human than she is. So it's about sacrifice and what do humans do to atone for their sins from destroying the world.
What I really like about your film is like who really deserves to be saved or to be given a second chance to mess things up again.
Luis Martinez programmed New Human as part of Un Mundo Extraño, a sidebar of genre films that explore strange worlds. He sees the sidebar as a complement to the festival films that are more grounded in real-world themes.
Alongside those issues, we also want to showcase that Latinos have a great love of genre films, and Un Mundo Extraño is a counterbalance to the more serious fare by showcasing how Latinos deal with their trauma, with their past, with their history through horror, through sci-fi, through telling interesting stories.
Sometimes I just want to see myself on the screen in a normal way that's uplifting or otherworldly and fantastical. I just want to make films that are normal, I guess, and just uplifting and out of the box of what so many people, I feel like, put us in.
Un Mundo Extraño highlights films that think outside the box and may not look outwardly Latino. It also pushes you out of your comfort zone, as Santa Zeta does. This genre-jumping feature from Spain is my favorite of the festival. Vibrant and bold, with fierce energy and a willingness to go someplace dark. Martinez also curates a comedy sidebar.
It's interesting to see where people are finding comedy these days and how people are dealing with their pain and their situations in a comedic way. Latinos, if nothing, are resilient, and you know, the Hay que reírse or You Gotta Laugh showcase is my way of putting that out into the world. And we always have to make time to laugh and enjoy each other and enjoy a good joke.
For Vontilo, it's important to have a safe place to celebrate Latino culture and the diversity of Latino cinema.
That's what it's really about. We need to teach future generations the joy and the power of seeing movies together. We need to teach future generations about the history of the Chicano Latino community. And we have a federal government that's working day after day to erase history, to take it away from schools, to take it away from libraries, to destroy public spaces like movie theaters. So we need to really celebrate and bring people together to document and to preserve the history of the Chicano community, Latino community, and Latino film and art.
So clear your calendar for the next 5 days and immerse yourself in the San Diego Latino Film Festival. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
Well, going to see one of those movies is a great place to cool down, but if you're looking for another quiet place to cool off during the heat wave, check out your local library. A library assistant with the City of San Diego told our media partner KGTV that they see more visitors coming through their doors when it's hot outside. Everyone from seniors and families to people experiencing homelessness. But library officials say budget cuts could pose a problem.
Preseason, if you will. It's like the tail end of March, but we're getting this heat wave. It's almost a prediction of what's to come June, July.
We're also concerned about the libraries being closed during the summer, particularly when they're used as cool zones for people who do not have, perhaps air conditioning in their own homes.
With a heat advisory in effect until 8 p.m. Friday, county officials are encouraging people in need of a place to cool off to check local library hours.
Well, we are dealing with a very hot weather pattern across much of the Southwest. Persistent near record heat. Most of the record heat is going to be a little more persistent in inland areas. I say that because we're dabbling near a record high on Wednesday in San Diego proper, but we probably won't hit too many true record highs in San Diego for a day or two after that. Thursday and Friday, maybe a little shy of true records there. We will hit records in areas like Ramona and other spots just inland. No real significant relief from the heat until next week. So here we are. We got heat advisories into the weekend for most of the area. The bulk of at least the more populated parts of San Diego County, Orange County, and then in the maroon. Look at that up into areas like downtown LA and inland portions of Orange and especially inland parts of San Diego counties, far inland into the deserts. Extreme heat warnings, excessive heat warnings. So tonight, we got 58 degrees for your low, and we're just locked in here. Strong ridge of high pressure, temperatures running 15 to 30 degrees above historical averages in some of these inland areas. The coast gives us some relief here. That's why we're not dealing with too much record heat along the immediate coastline and in San Diego proper. But we're dabbling near record highs on Wednesday in San Diego. But record highs are a lock in some areas inland. So there we are, 79 in San Diego on Wednesday, but look at Escondido, 92, Ramona, 94. We got the thermometer out there, 101 in Borrego Springs, very hot. Mount Laguna, 70 degrees up in the mountains. Relentless heat Thursday, intentionally trimming the red away from the coastline. A little hint of relief there. The dry spell continues through Friday, though. Not a drop of rain. We're not going to see any rain through the middle of next week either, obviously. With this pattern. There is expanding drought across parts of the interior. Reservoirs are doing okay, though. That's some good news. But here we are with the warmth. Hottest on Wednesday for the coast. Temps in the 70s then. There is a little relief along the coastline. Inland areas, not the same for you. You're locked into the mid-90s Thursday, Friday, and then a little bit of relief back into the 80s for the weekend. So we're going to find some relief then. In the mountains, very warm on mountain standards for March, 70s and upper 60s. And in the deserts here, we're locked into triple-digit heat through Saturday. And then, again, still compared to normal for March, very steamy on Sunday, just not quite as hot, back into the double digits. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Cornish for KPBS News.
I'm Jeff Bennett. Tonight on the NewsHour, Israel says it has killed Iran's top security official. What that means for the future of the war. That's at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
We're learning more about the role Snapdragon Stadium is set to play in the 2028 Summer Olympics. Snapdragon will be known as San Diego Stadium during the Olympics because of IOC sponsorship rules. The stadium will host 11 total matches, including bronze medal soccer games for both the men's and women's teams. Tickets go on sale in April. Fans can register at la28.org for a chance to purchase tickets through a lottery drawing. The world's most watched sporting event kicks off in June, and San Diego will be part of it. KPBS reporter Jacob Ayers says 2 teams will set up camp here for the FIFA World Cup.
There won't be any World Cup games here, but 2 sites in San Diego have been selected as base camps for teams who are playing on the West Coast. They'll use the sites for about a month.
They will be out here on the field, training every day, preparing for all of their events.
Switzerland will stay at the Fairmont Grand Del Mar and train nearby at the San Diego Jewish Academy. Adam Ben-Moise is Director of Auxiliary Programs for the K-12 private school.
So they'll be arriving in San Diego on June 2nd. Their first training will be June 3rd. They will stay throughout the group stage.
He says he cried when he found out Switzerland selected their site, and it's an honor to host them. Now they've started to upgrade the facilities to meet FIFA World Cup standards. He says base camp fields cannot be used for at least 4 weeks before national teams arrive in order to protect the playing surface.
Every other week we have the FIFA pitch department coming out here, coming to see the field, taking samples, doing tests, making sure that our maintenance schedule is on pace and that everything's going to be good and ready. And as you can see back there, we're beginning construction to add even more field space so the team has a better training facility.
He says the school is no stranger to hosting professional soccer.
We've hosted some of the biggest teams in the world. U.S. men's and women's national team have both trained here. Most of the MLS teams that play San Diego FC train here as well.
Say it again and again and savor every word. New Zealand are going to the Football World Cup.
Around 15 miles away, the New Zealand team will stay at the Hyatt Regency La Jolla and train at the University of San Diego's Torero Stadium.
Right now we're planning on them being here on May 30th, all the way to hopefully they advance and are here through the beginning of July.
USD's Jessica Gorky says there were multiple teams interested in using the site for the World Cup.
Jordan visited us. England did a virtual tour, so really over Zoom. We also got a chance to meet with Australia, Paraguay, those types of teams.
She says they're still finalizing plans for a community event, which is required for all base camps. But due to strict FIFA security regulations, the general public will not be allowed to watch training sessions at base camp facilities. Gorky says FIFA is particular about how each base camp is set up, including high privacy fencing, media areas, and particular soccer gear.
FIFA's bringing in a lot of the equipment, so they're going to be bringing in dummies and goals and a lot of the things that the team needs to train directly.
The teams will play first-round games in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Vancouver, Canada. FIFA has marked one other potential World Cup base camp in the region, but so far, no team has selected that site in Tijuana. World Cup games begin June 11th. Jacob Ayer, KPBS News.
That's some exciting stuff. Well, here's a look at what we're working on for tomorrow in the KPBS newsroom. Foreign tourism in the U.S. declined last year. Will the World Cup support a bounce back? That is tomorrow on NPR's Morning Edition. And making friends as an adult can be more difficult than it was when we were kids. KPBS Midday Edition is bringing together some experts who can help. And you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Have a great evening.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit BillHowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.